Good morning, this is Jack from Shark Tank Markets, and this is a pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 27th of February. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, now, I was talking a few days ago about the bearish window that led into the end of February, and tomorrow, from a trading perspective, and every other perspective, is the end of February. So we've got these Friday are 28% green closes, which is probably the most bearish leading day in February. Looking into next week, we've got bullish leading day on Monday, bearish leading day on Tuesday, bullish leading day on Wednesday, and basically neutral for the week. It's so this is the end of the bearish window. It doesn't mean we can't go down, but this is the end of the obvious bearish window. So I've been looking for a rally here, and we did see a bit of a rally. We actually went about 100 handles from low to high, and we got pretty close to some of the buy signal targets on the charts here. So we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, almost made the possible near miss target, might be close enough on ES. NQ hasn't made it yet, but I'm thinking it may well make it today, because on ES and here we've got a rally, we've got a higher low. I'm wondering if this is an ABC flag into a retest of the low tomorrow, and I'm seeing the same thing on NQ. It looks a bit different on RTY. RTY, we've got a possible inverted head and shoulders formed here, and I'm wondering if that might play out to the upside. On YM, we actually had a double bottom which broke up and then fell back into the lows pretty much. And we've got a potential larger double bottom here which might play out. Looking at the buy signal here, we got to the possible near miss target, and I called it because it went back to the 30 level on the RSI. RTY, we've still got a 60-minute buy signal, and that's reached the possible near miss target. But I think in terms of the futures charts, they've mainly delivered, but they just didn't deliver as much as we would usually expect to see. On DAX and the STX, we had two head and shoulder patterns, and those have broken down and are rejecting back up into the highs at the moment. Both of the head and shoulders have failed, and I'm leaning towards seeing a high retest on both. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Looking at the daily chart, we actually touched on Wednesday. Sorry, on Tuesday, we touched the 3SD lower band on SPX, and it was a clear touch that normally will give us some rally, and I'm leaning towards seeing one thing we normally see is a back test of the daily middle band, and it could be forming a flag that we could see that back test. But we've got a couple of big levels that we've been looking at this week, and this is the first one really that needs to be converted to resistance if we're going to see more downside in the short term. So going to be watching at that, and that's at 60. That was at 60.53 yesterday. Looking at ES, we've seen pretty much the same, touch of the 3SD lower band again. We've got no positive divergence here, but if we see that rally and then we retest the low, we could set up some positive divergence on the RSI 5. On the bigger picture resistance that I'm looking at is on the weekly middle band. Now, if we do see a retest of the low tomorrow, we might actually see closes below the weekly middle band. This is a big level, and we quite often see a break below it and then a rejection back above it. But certainly, if we were to break that and convert it, that would be a very bearish sign, and really might, and that might lead to significantly more downside. And of course, we do have this double top here. I haven't marked in the arrows yet, but if we, but on a sustained break below this level here, which is 59.23. Which we have broken slightly, this would have a target in the 57.25 area and open up the larger double top support, which is in the 57.75 area. On the 15-minute chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal that's reached the possible near miss target, but we have actually had enough of a rally to get rid of some of and to play out some of the shorter term buy signals. We've got on Qs. Qs, we're seeing a little bit of a rally here. We never made it down to the 3SD lower band because Qs has been the strongest here. That's not saying an awful lot, but it has been the strongest. On the weekly, we're also testing the weekly middle band here. But these are the two most bullish of the indices here. We've got an RSI 5 buy signal fixed, and we've got a possible flag forming, and that's on the hourly chart, and nothing really on the on the 15-minute chart. On Dia, we spent a couple of days testing the 3SD lower band, and on the weekly chart, we have basically spent, well, it looks as though we may see the week start and end below the weekly middle bands. So that would be a break, but I'll be more impressed if we manage to do that on SPX. On hourly chart, we've got a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed. On the 15-minute chart, the same. Hasn't quite retested this low, but got very, very close to it. So this was effectively a breakup and a rejection. Again, could this be a flag? Maybe. Looks more like a double bottom though. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on IWM. IWM, we've got a break below this channel support I was looking at, which is encouraging news, and we've hit this big support shelf in the 213, 214 area. This could be the head and shoulders complete and starting to break down. Again, the danger with top in pattern breaking down is always that you might see a rejection back up to the high, but that is encouraging for bears at the very minimum. On the weekly, we broke the weekly middle band a while back. And have been holding and been below it all this week and all of last week. That leans bearish. I'm not seeing anything really which is looking bullish on IWM. On the 60-minute chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal that is fixed, and the RSI 5 buy signal made target. We've got a possible IHS here, and that looks pretty nice, both on the futures and on the RTH charts. So watching that with interest, but I am wondering whether we're forming an ABC flag here, and we'll do a higher high on that today, followed by retests of the lows tomorrow. On DAX, heading back very possibly to a retest of the highs. The Europeans have been much stronger recently. And on Nikkei, I was a bit surprised to see that we actually tested the 3SD lower band, which has been very weak. But this has been pretty weak the last few weeks. But I was thinking this might be more neutral, but actually it has been moving heavily to the downside. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX, I'm still leaning towards this being a flag. We've now broken over this declining resistance. We've got a decent looking double bottom here, and I'm leaning towards the upside. If we look at the euro, we've got a very nice looking double top here, and I'm thinking this may be about to break down. Looking at ZB, I've drawn in a possible trendline resistance here up in about the 118.24 area. I'm expecting this to be a bear flag on the bigger picture. I could be mistaken, but I'm leaning towards that. And the more talk we have of tariffs, although there was talk of tariffs yesterday, but it looks as though they might be implemented in April if he decides to go ahead and implement them. That would likely push up inflation, and that would be bearish for, well, that would be bullish for bond yields. And bond yields, we still got a open bull flag target at a retest of 49.97 on TNX. CL hasn't reached, I was talking about this yesterday, we got a 60-minute buy signal fix. I've still got this channel support, which I quite like down here in the 67 area. Maybe we'll get beyond that, but at the moment we've made the target without really going up a great deal. So we may just reverse back down and head down to that target. On NG, this still looks like a bull flag forming. On GC, we got a nice looking double top, and it's getting pretty close to the support. One thing to say on here is that we have now had, I was talking about it on the bigger picture yesterday, we have now had an RSI 14 daily sell signal fixed on both GC and the gold index. I'm liking the downside here. It's a nice looking setup. On SI, we could be forming a head and shoulders, in which case I'll be looking for a right shoulder here, ideally up in about the weekly pivot area, but slightly higher, maybe 33.25. On HG, we had the head and shoulders, and that broke down and it rejected. This could be an overall bull flag forming and deliver another low, maybe in about the 4.3 to 4.35 area. Looking at KC. KC, we've got a weak 6-minute buy signals fixed, and we've broken up a little from this very sharply declining falling wedge. Not sure there's much of a reversal pattern here, and it hasn't really risen a great deal. SB, we've got a double top here. I was saying yesterday that I was expecting that to play out, and we've got a sell signal fixed on the daily. 60-minute sell signals now made target, and actually that's broken down and made most of the target since I was talking about that on the bigger picture yesterday. On CC, nice little rally here. 60-minute buy signal has not quite reached the possible near miss target. Wondering if a reversal pattern might form, but I was a bit shaken when we came down here, and this has weakened the overall bull flag setup here. and the prospects for a retest of the high. On ZW, we've got a possible weak 60-minute buy signal brewing and what looks like a bull flag. On corn, could be setting up a small double bottom here. I am wondering if we might see a decent rally on all of the grains. And on soy, we've got this double top which broke down, but we also got this double bottom which may break up and send us back up into a retest of the highs. We shall see. On cotton, we've still got a target down at a retest of this low here on cotton, and we're not that far away from that. That could well be the second low of a double bottom as and when we get there. On lumber, we had some pretty wild action yesterday. 60-minute sell signals now reached the possible near miss target. Still not sure what's happening here on the bigger picture, but these two highs are not a double top, so I'm wondering if this might go higher. On live cattle, we've seen a bit of a rally here after the break over this declining resistance, but we're not really making any traction to the upside, and even this tiny little double bottom here hasn't made target yet. We may just still be forming a bottom pattern, or it may need to go lower. On lean hogs, we've seen a bit of a rally here on a 60-minute buy signal. Hasn't reached the possible near miss target yet, and obvious target would be a test of the monthly pivot, but that is only the monthly pivot for today and tomorrow. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we don't have any. All right, I am wondering very seriously whether we're seeing a bear flag form on ES and NQ here, setting up a retest of the lows tomorrow. We have actually made some of the buy signal targets, or got pretty close to the targets on ES and NQ, and that might be enough short term. I'm thinking we may well see another low tomorrow, retest the low, and possibly set up a double bottom there. The weekly close is important because that will give us potential weekly closes below the weekly middle band on ES and NQ, although that would be potentially setting up for rejection next week. On the news front, I did hear, I was told by my ex, so I'm helping out after she had a nasty injury, that America put tariffs on Europe yesterday. That's not the case. They're talking about the possibility of putting those on at the beginning of April, and Trump wasn't sure, but I think he's talking about the same on Canada and Mexico. That could give us a clear month to deliver a larger rally. We will see, but I think if those tariffs go on, it's still very much an if at this stage, then that actually is going to rock the equities boat, I think. But I'm not sure quite there yet. There is a possibility, though, that on Canada and Mexico, those might get imposed on Tuesday next week. We'll see, but I think the tariffs are going to be a very, very big game changer this year if they start going in bulk. And at the moment, the administration seems determined to put at least some of those on. We will see, but that could have a huge impact on everything from unemployment to very much inflation and interest rates. So watching that with great interest. All right, great. In that case, that's a wrap, guys. My pleasure as always, and I will see you tomorrow morning.